Greetings, free people. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check.
But I don't really laugh like go to me now.
You're up on live, you know, brother.
I tell you, flamboyancy, like, hey, find
Live
the,
hope,
get
my
the
lord.
juror log on to you.
I say live hope me, you know. So if you don't mind up on the live internationally when you talk, open it up, you know. Due process of law, due course of law. The fundamental constitutional guarantees of personal liberty protect private individuals in the right of enjoyment of personal liberty and freedoms without unlawful restraint, and it is universally recognized that no one may be arrested except by due process. And this a second ruling, case law 463, section 21. We say no property of any description shall be taken possession of, and no interest in or right over property of any description shall be compulsory acquired except by or under the provisions of a law that a prescribe the principles on which and the manner in which compensation therefore is to be determined and given. So this is where we are talking about due process. And we are talking about the Jamaica Constitution, Chapter 3, Charter of Fundamental Rights and Freedom, Section 15, Subsection 1. So, you know, this is just basically a preview of the information we work on. It has the word due process does not mean anything which the legislator may see fit to declare to be due process of law. Due process was intended to preserve established fundamental rights by requiring that they cannot be deprived except by established modes of laws as existing under the common law. The guarantee that government shall follow a specific and pre-existing rule of conduct, process, and procedure is a right the people / citizens held at common law and was claimed by the colonists in early America. Thus, it is clear that the common law is the foundation of that which is designated to be due process of law. And again, we have to look to outside source because Jamaica, again, just get independence in 1962. Where I said this chapter applies to all law and bind the legislator, the executive, and the public authorities. So now we are looking at Jamaica Constitution, again, chapter 3, section 13, subsection 4 and 5. So this is where the contractual obligation derive, where it has said this chapter applies to all laws, that all laws in Jamaica, and bind the legislator and the executive and all public authorities. Then it says the provisions of this chapter bind the natural or juristic person if and to the extent that it is applicable, taking account of the nature of the right and the nature of any duty imposed by the right. Now we are saying Not both entities are joined, one or the other. When I say or, it means optional, opposed to and, which means joinder. So again, this chapter 5, section 5, which is chapter 3, fundamental rights and freedom, it binds the natural person or the juristic person. So there is no way you can say, boy, the principle and the surety, is joined together and both people have to go in a prison. No, the man can never go in prison unless on a trick or deceive the man. Why? Because the man have a surety, and it is the surety's responsibility to stand in the shoes of the principal and take the responsibility of the principal and protect and preserve the principal. But them not teach with these things in school. And this is why I have no issues challenging the jurisdiction, the authority, and the control of this political entity known as the government of Jamaica, because it is a political entity. So when we don't know the difference or the distinction, then, we're going to remain drifting, lost at sea naturally. Again, we said the Jamaica Constitution guarantees these pre-existing rights. Again, let me repeat that. The Jamaica Constitution guarantees these pre-existing rights and procedures in the due process provisions. What is due process of law may be ascertained by an examination of those settled usage and modes of proceedings existing in the common and statute law of England before the immigration of the foreigners. The fact of my case, my traffic court case, where we have two police officers, it was three, but one police officer, as I have already said, is an honorable man, that is Officer Porter. But Senior Sergeant of Police, A. Edwards, and Constable Andel Morgan, in that specific case, leads to the conclusion of law that these defendants did not have any lawful authority to arrest I, who is the plaintiff. These defendants had no warrant for the arrest of the plaintiff, and they allege that they were only committed, 4 counts of misdemeanor, which is a traffic violation for an unregistered private automobile. There were no claim of a felony committed or breach of the peace. At common law and under the provisions of the due process of law, such an arrest without a warrant cannot be made, since the arrest deprived the plaintiff of his liberty and freedom by an act not pursuant to due process of law. The arrest is unlawful. Due process is not determined by the legislator. If persons can be restrained of their liberty and assaulted and imprisoned under such circumstances without complaint or warrant, then there is no limit to the power of a police officer. Any law which would place the keeping and safe conduct of another in the hands of even a conservator of the peace, unless for some breach of the peace committed in the presence or in his presence or upon suspicion of felony, would be most oppressive and unjust and destroy all the rights which our constitution guarantee. So then basically I say, the moment the police officer or any police officer act outside of his constitutional delegated authority, he become a lawbreaker. He's an outlaw in office. And this is where most people not really have clarity. We on the island, people think, say, boy, because the legislator said this or write this, then it is law. No such thing. No such thing. This is why we deal with specificity. What law are you referring to? We are there to the common law, man like I. We adhere to natural law, nature's law. Yeah, man. So for our people, it has to be a step-by-step situation. These are rights which exist long before our constitution, and we have taken just pride in their maintenance, making them a part of the fundamental laws of the land. And you're going to find them information here in Pinkerton versus Verberg. We have to look to the what was before, to how the changes are. You can't start now and say, boy, where you say, is it? We have to always, apply ourselves in order to get the clarity. Without the clarity, then we're going to lost. We're going to drift out there at sea, lost at sea. Basically, that is it, people. It's a quick pass through. I'm not really there to spend too much time out here, but I'm going to share this other information. Not all right. I like it so much. And I might present it out here. Because we always say Indian paradigm. Equitable relief against the express terms of a contract. The Indian's status as principal over his or her own surety. Certification of vital record. The infant trust estate. The juristic person. The strawman. West Indian birthright. The surety account. And there them see the image that is there. Now I say principal Linton hyphen O'Neill full colon Dallas. Doing business as Linton O'Neill Dallas. Because we have first, middle, or last name. We have first and last name. What we have is given name and house name. Or given name and family name. And we write it distinctively. Now we say under natural law, there is no limit to our right to contract unless we waive or limit those rights by consent or tacit acquiescence or tacit agreement. We are now cognizant that law is whatever it is we choose to consent to. Hence, the terms of an agreement between the parties become the binding contract that makes the law. Free will is a choice between self-governance and political governance. Now, I'm going to touch upon commerce, because to why man always lick a fire upon commerce, burn it out. But when we get clarity, yeah, we have to make the correction. Commercial. The term commercial as used here in reference to any dealings people have amongst themselves. Thus, the law of commerce refers to the just procedure governing human relationship. Let me repeat that. The just procedure governing human relationships. So this is what the law of commerce is. The self-evident principle. Again, the self-evident principles, let me repeat it again, the self-evident principles of right and wrong, which are the foundation of the common law of the land. Commercial law. The foundation of commercial law rests solidly on the bedrock of justice and common sense. These laws are so sound and universally accepted that they cannot with impunity be overturned, overwritten, or tampered with in any way. They are founded on eternal truth, needing no proof from anyone to justify their validity, i.e., that is, self-evident. They are immutable. They provide equal justice to all parties of interest and thus are completely fair. All other just laws sprang from this foundation. However, by contrast, corrupted unconstitutional laws are mere shadows of these truth, correct, and accurate principles. Again, By contrast, corrupted, unconstitutional laws are mere shadows of these true, correct, and accurate principles. All individuals take a position at law and in commerce when entering into any agreement or contract. I'm gonna touch this and kind of wrap it up. We're gonna go back over this thing on next day. Commercially, commercially, the principal and the surety seems to be engaged in transfers for most transactions. Transfers are activity that take energy, goods, and services from one party, but no value or detriment is received in return. The nature of this oppression is invisible. I'll leave it right there. We're going to touch back this and I'll repeat all right again. Yeah, man. So this is the instrument where Babylon can interface with. When Babylon choose to interface with the man, that's because the man is totally unaware of his position or unaware of who he is. Because by law of nature, no man on earth have no absolute right to tell no other else man what to do, how to do it, or when to do it without a written contract. And when people violate them order, a decapitation, and you're within your right. Yeah, man. Remember, contract make law. Yeah, man. Only contract make law. Anyway, again, we give thanks out the great uprising. Stay bold and brave. Night, night. Stay firm and strong. Salute out there, free people. Preview, because we have so much, so much. When we think we know, we are, we're clueless. We're clueless, man. And I think the state are going to have an issue when them discover, we think it's not just superficial. You know what I mean? Because this is the next area where we have to touch upon. The principal must check. Since a surety bond is a legally binding document, the principal must check the following once a bond has been executed and issued. Number one, you have to check the bond number. Well, the paper where them give me, there is no such thing as a bond number on it. This is why we cancel that bond. This is why we revoke and rescind or consent to that bond. This is why we terminate that bond. That's what we did when it's over our court. So it's a whole different thing. Why you have to manifest now? And again, the man can't force it to contract. Period. And you have to know what constitute contract. This is what beat us as a people. You know what I mean? We're kind of lost when it come on to, war going out there in the real world. We are so confined.
Tort law.
Say it again, King.
Tort law.
Tort. Yeah, man.
Tort law.
Yeah, tort claim. Tort claim. Yeah, once them outside a constitutional delegated authority, then them are outlaw. And remember, once them do business, they have descend to the level of a corporation where they can be sued. So when a man think me a prejudge the police officers, notice the agent is notice the principal. So it's more so all the way to the top. So what we are doing, we are set precedent. Precedent we are set, man, naturally, effortlessly, because we can't even get out of the way of it. We can't get out of the way of it because we are on the correct side of the issue. Yeah, man, we're up on the lawful side of the issue. So that's the subtlety. Again, we just share with information naturally. Yeah, man. This is a non-monetized platform. Never about the likes. It's about the true expression of one's grassroots philosophy. We don't have it round here. And through most of we have to learn, you just say, self-taught, autodidactic. This is how we have to become, can attain this kind of information. You now get it in the school, you can't even get it in the barber shop, because you can't talk to people on this level. They're lost. So you have to just present it out there for people, kind of familiarize themselves with it. And as ones go along and develop, then, you know, it become a part of them nature. This is what truth is. Yeah, man. And this is never ever remember some can even though I light and night. Yeah. Yeah, outdoors. But this is what truth is. And truth no wear clothes. Truth no fancy. Truth no care whether you're brown, black, slim, fat. Yeah, truth are just truth. Anyway, stay bold and brave out there, people. Stay firm and strong. Salute.